Thank you for tuning in to LeadDeveloper.com, where we simplify complex property development feasibilities, investment analysis, and everything real estate. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our Google Sheets-based Feasibility Suite streamlines the toughest aspects of real estate. Lead Developer Feasibility Suite is trusted by thousands in over 17 countries. Our tools cover everything from quick assessments to detailed cash flow projections and more. Sign up today at LeadDeveloper.com for unlimited free access to our expanding library of real estate tools. No credit card needed. Plus, get full support through Edge with step-by-step guidance, exclusive courses, and resources designed for your success. Turn numbers into narratives that win over investors and lenders. Join Lead Developer now.
Townhouses seem to be everywhere these days.
Yeah.
Like they're really having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you might even be thinking about joining the party.
Right.
But before you dive headfirst into that development world,
Yeah.
we need to figure out if those dollar signs are the real deal or just a mirage.
Right.
So today, we're using an excerpt from How to Build a Townhouse Development Case Study
Okay.
to sort of be our crystal ball.
Right.
And think of this deep dive like a financial detective briefing. We're using a real-world example
Yeah.
to see if this townhouse dream is actually worth chasing.
It's like a sniff test
Exactly.
to see if it's even worth spending
Yeah.
more time and money on it.
Totally.
The allure of developing townhouses is strong, but, we're not just building homes, we're building a business.
For sure.
And that means we need a solid foundation of financial feasibility.
Absolutely.
Gotta make sure the numbers work.
Okay, so speaking of foundations, why are townhouses so hot right now?
Well,
Is this just a fad?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's a bit of a sweet spot.
Okay.
They appeal to both developers and families.
Gotcha.
Developers like them because they have a faster turnaround than larger projects.
Oh, okay, so they can make money quicker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe that's some.
And they also offer the potential for ongoing rental income.
Right, so if they decide to hold on to them.
Yeah, if they want to go that route.
So two main options.
Yeah, you got it.
Develop and sell for a quick profit,
Mm-hmm.
or develop and hold for that long-term income.
Exactly.
Got it. Now, what about the families?
Right.
What's driving them toward townhouses?
It's all about balance.
Okay.
You get more space than an apartment, maybe a small yard.
Yeah.
But without that hefty price tag of a detached home.
Right.
And then you've got the amenities, too.
Yeah, like what kind of things?
Oh, some developments have pools or gyms.
Oh, what?
Stuff like that,
Okay, that makes sense.
which can be a big draw for busy families.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we get lost in like blueprints and landscaping,
Right.
the case study mentions units, villas, and townhouses
Yeah.
as the three main players in residential development.
Sure.
So can we just quickly define those?
Yeah, sure.
Just so we're all on the same page?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like these terms get thrown around a lot.
They do, and it can get confusing.
Yeah.
So units is a broad term often used for apartments
Okay.
or condos in a larger complex, sharing walls and common areas.
Right.
Villas, on the other hand, are independent units
Okay.
within a smaller complex, often themed,
Themed like how?
like a resort or a retirement community.
Oh.
They might have private yards,
All right.
but they're usually self-contained.
So villas are kind of like individual homes
Yeah,
clustered together.
exactly.
Okay. And where do townhouses fit in?
Think of them as hybrids.
Oh.
They're typically 2 stories, shared walls like units,
Yeah.
but often have a small private garden or yard.
So basically a row of houses
Yeah,
connected together.
that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
More privacy than an apartment,
Yeah.
but a bit more attainable than a detached home.
Got it.
The Goldilocks of residential development.
I like that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into this case study.
Okay.
What's the scenario our developers facing here?
So the case study follows a developer who's presented with a potential site.
Okay.
It's a 980 square meter lot with an asking price of $2,100,000.
All right.
The location is an established suburb, about 20 kilometers from the CBD.
So prime location.
Yeah, prime location.
Okay.
And comparable townhouses in the area are selling between $870,000 and $960,000.
Okay. So there's a strong market
Yeah, definitely.
with plenty of development happening already.
That's right.
Okay. Sounds promising.
Yeah.
So time to put on our financial detective hats and run that initial feasibility analysis to see if this is even worth looking into further.
This is where the 1-minute FISO comes in.
Okay, I love that name.
Right.
What are the working assumptions for this?
So they're assuming 6 townhouses,
Okay.
each about 145 square meter.
Okay. And remember those comparable sales.
Mm-hmm.
They're aiming for an average sale price
Right.
of $950,000
Per townhouse.
per townhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These assumptions,
Yeah.
they didn't just pull those out of thin air, did they?
Of course not.
Okay.
They've done their homework.
Okay, yeah.
They've looked at real estate portals,
Mm-hmm.
spoken to local agents,
Okay.
analyzed approved developments in the area.
So really gathering intel,
Yeah,
understanding the market,
that's right.
and making educated guesses based on what's already happening.
Exactly.
Okay, smart.
You gotta be smart about it.
But now comes the less glamorous part,
Yeah,
the costs.
right.
Development isn't just about what you earn.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what you spend to get there.
That's a good point.
Right.
A very good point. And this case study breaks down the costs
Okay.
into some major categories,
Okay.
starting with the most obvious
Yeah.
land acquisition costs.
Okay, so that's pretty straightforward, the price of the land,
Uh-huh.
plus those additional costs like stamp duty and legal fees.
Exactly.
Okay, and then what comes after that?
Next, we dive into the project costs.
Okay.
We've got construction,
Mm-hmm.
consultants,
Okay.
those tricky development contributions.
Yeah, we'll get to those.
Yeah.
Closing costs,
Mm-hmm.
miscellaneous expenses,
Right.
and then the all-important financing costs
Absolutely.
for both the land and the construction itself.
Can't forget about those.
Wow, that's a lot to juggle.
It is.
Okay, let's unpack those, starting with construction.
Okay.
What falls under that umbrella?
So construction costs go beyond just materials.
Okay.
It includes the builder's contract,
Mm-hmm.
site prep,
Right.
connecting utilities,
Okay.
and a contingency
Uh,
for those unexpected costs.
always got to have that buffer.
Always.
Okay.
Because they always seem to pop up.
Yeah, for sure. The 1-minute FISO
Yeah.
offers a couple of ways to calculate these costs,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
And what are they?
So you can use the total built area of the project,
Okay.
which would be 6 townhouses
Mm-hmm.
times 145 square meters each.
Okay.
Or you can use an average construction cost per square meter
Got it.
based on market research.
Got it.
So you've got some options there.
Flexibility is key.
It is.
All right, now what about those consultant fees?
Okay.
Architects, engineers, that sort of thing?
Yeah, those are essential.
They are.
And this case study allocates
Yeah.
4% to 6% of construction costs
Okay.
for consultants if there's no development approval in place.
Okay.
If an approval already exists,
Mm-hmm.
it drops to 3% to 4%
Okay.
because some of the initial design work is done.
Oh, so securing that development approval up front
Yeah,
could potentially save some money.
exactly. It
Makes sense.
streamlines things a bit.
Okay, what's next?
Development contributions.
Oh, yeah, these are tricky.
It can be.
Okay, development contributions.
Yeah.
What exactly are those?
Think of them as fees
Okay.
developers pay to local councils
Okay.
to cover the impact of new developments on
Okay.
things like infrastructure.
Infrastructure like what?
Roads, sewers, parks, you name it.
Oh, okay.
All the stuff that supports the community.
Got it.
So the more units you build,
Yeah.
the higher these contributions are likely to be.
Okay, so it's kind of like
Okay.
a way for the council to say,
Yeah.
hey, you're putting more strain on our infrastructure,
Exactly.
so you need to help us pay for it.
That's the idea.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
How these fees are calculated
Yeah. This is the tricky part.
can vary between councils.
Yeah.
So what one council charges
Right.
might be completely different
Completely different.
from another just down the road.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how does a developer even navigate that?
The key is to contact the local council directly
Okay.
and get the specifics on their calculation method.
Okay, so really
Yeah.
get that information straight from the source.
Straight from the source.
Don't make any assumptions.
No assumption.
The source even mentions a developer who got caught out
Oh, yeah.
when the council changed their assessment method.
Mid-project.
Mid-project, oh my God.
Yeah, it can happen.
That would be a nightmare.
A costly surprise.
Yeah, so it definitely pays to get that information
For sure.
straight from the source.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's next on our cost breakdown?
Closing costs
Okay.
and sales commissions.
Okay, so things like legal fees,
Uh-huh.
marketing,
Yeah.
real estate agent commissions.
Right.
Once those townhouses are ready to sell,
Exactly.
so the cost of actually getting those sold signs up,
Yeah, basically.
then we have those miscellaneous costs,
Right.
the catch-all category
Exactly.
for everything else.
Anything that doesn't fit neatly into the other categories.
Yeah.
It's like the junk drawer.
It's junk drawer of development costs.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've covered land acquisition,
Mm-hmm.
construction, consultants, development contributions, closing costs, and miscellaneous costs. What's left?
Financing.
Ah, yes, financing.
The big one.
That's a whole other beast.
It is.
Right.
It is, and it comes with its own set of costs.
Yeah.
So the case study separates financing into land and construction.
Okay.
Land financing covers interest incurred on a loan taken out to purchase the land before construction even begins.
So even if you have one loan for the entire project, some lenders might require separate land and construction facilities.
Especially if you need those off-the-plan sales.
Oh, right, to begin construction.
Exactly.
Okay.
Those off-the-plan sales are agreements to purchase properties before they're built, which are often required to secure construction financing.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just the interest rate on the loan that impacts costs, but also the time it takes to secure those pre-sales and start building.
Exactly. Time is money.
Right.
In development, for sure.
Okay, now what about construction financing?
So construction loans are usually drawn down in stages as the project progresses. And interest is calculated on the amount drawn down at any given time.
Interesting.
So it's not just borrowing a lump sum.
Okay, so the faster the project moves, the lower the overall interest costs.
Exactly.
Okay, so it incentivizes
efficiency. I like it.
You got to keep things moving.
Yeah.
And the 1-minute FISO actually lets you play around with those variables.
Really?
Yeah, you could adjust the loan drop percentage to reflect how quickly the loan's drawn down and set the loan duration to include construction time.
And the period needed to settle those off-the-plan sales.
Wow, so this 1-minute FISO really is a powerful tool.
It is.
It gives developers incredible insight into the costs and risks of a project.
It really does.
But it's crucial to remember that all these calculations are based on those initial assumptions we talked about.
Exactly.
So what happens if those assumptions change?
Right.
What if costs go up? Or the market softens and those sale prices drop?
Oh, that's a great point.
That's scary. It's easy to get caught up in the best case scenario.
Oh, yeah.
But we need to face those potential what ifs.
Absolutely.
And that's where sensitivity analysis comes in, right?
You got it.
We need to stress test those assumptions.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dive into that.
All right.
What insights can sensitivity analysis offer our developer?
So the beauty of the 1-minute FISO tool is that it lets you model different scenarios.
Oh, okay.
You can adjust sale prices, construction costs, even financing terms to get a more realistic picture.
So instead of just a static snapshot, it's more like a dynamic simulation.
Exactly.
We can play around with the variables and see how they interact.
That's the idea.
Okay, I like that.
It's like a financial choose-your-own-adventure
well, I love
for your development.
Okay.
You can see what happens if construction costs increase by 5%.
Okay.
Or if sale prices need to adjust to stay competitive.
That's where knowing your hurdle rate comes in handy, right?
Absolutely.
So that's your minimum desired return on investment. It's like the make or break point. That helps you decide if a project is even worth the risk.
Exactly.
So if your hurdle rate is 25%, and the sensitivity analysis shows that your profit margin dips below that, if construction costs rise by 10%, you know you need to rethink your strategy.
You got to rethink it.
Maybe adjust the budget. Find ways to mitigate that risk, or even just walk away.
Sometimes that's the best option.
Well,
It's hard, but sometimes it's necessary.
Okay, so sensitivity analysis gives you data-driven insights.
That's right.
To make informed decisions. Not just rely on gut feeling.
Not just your gut.
It's about taking the emotion out of it. And looking at the numbers objectively.
Exactly.
It's like having a financial crystal ball.
Kind of.
Showing us potential futures. For the project.
In a way,
Okay.
It helps you anticipate challenges. Weigh different options. And ultimately make smarter investment decisions.
Okay. And speaking of smart decisions.
The
1-minute FISO can also tell us the maximum land value.
That's right.
Based on our desired hurdle rate.
Exactly.
Meaning it tells us how much we can afford to pay for the land while still achieving our target return on investing.
Exactly. And in this case, with a hurdle rate of 25%, the maximum land value comes out to...
Don't leave me hanging. Right. What's the magic number?
$1,749,069.
Wait a minute. Isn't the asking price $2,100,000?
It is.
That's a pretty big gap.
That's a big gap.
Red flag.
A red flag.
That the 1-minute FISO has just revealed
It
suggests the seller might be overvaluing the property.
It could be.
Or maybe they know something we don't.
Maybe.
Plot twist.
Right.
Our financial detective work just got interesting.
Definitely.
This discrepancy needs further investigation.
It does.
Before we make any moves.
Yeah, before you sign anything.
Property development is rarely straightforward.
It's not.
There are always hidden factors, potential risks to consider.
That's right.
And the 1-minute FISO gives us the tools
to
navigate those complexities.
It does.
But we're not done yet.
No, we're not.
We need to explore the dreaded worst-case scenario.
Always got to look at the worst case.
Buckle up. What happens if sale prices drop by 10%?
Okay.
And costs simultaneously increase by 10%.
That's the stress test.
That's terrifying.
It is.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Deep breath.
So based on the 1-minute FISO, that scenario results in a loss of $278,568.
Ouch.
Yeah, not good.
That's a sobering reminder that even with careful planning, things can go wrong.
Oh, they can.
So this worst-case scenario analysis is all about risk assessment.
It is.
It highlights the importance of contingency planning, being conservative with our financial projections, and really understanding the market dynamics.
Can't just assume everything will go perfectly.
It's about managing expectations and being prepared for the unexpected.
Exactly.
Okay, so with all this number crunching and scenario planning, what's the preliminary conclusion?
Right.
Is this townhouse development a go or a no-go? Well, let's recap those key findings.
Okay.
The development margin, or profit margin on cost, comes out to 15.6%.
Okay.
The total development profit is estimated at $723,615.
Oh, okay.
And the developer's equity contribution would be $1,394,733.
Those numbers seem promising.
They do.
On the surface.
Yeah.
But I'm sensing there's more to the story.
You're right.
Okay.
While a return on equity of around 51% on a $1,394,733 investment might seem attractive.
Yeah.
That 15.6% profit margin is relatively thin.
Okay.
Especially considering the $3.2 million in debt needed to finance the project.
Okay, so potential returns are there.
Yeah.
But the thin margin and high debt load,
it's a bit risky.
Definitely yellow flags.
Yeah, some things to think about.
Okay, and let's not forget that big difference between the maximum land value and the asking price.
That's a major piece of the puzzle.
It is.
That needs further investigation. It's a reminder that in property development, assumptions can be dangerous.
Right.
We need to dig deeper, understand the reasons behind that discrepancy.
Information is power.
It is.
The more we know, the better equipped we are to negotiate effectively.
Exactly. Right. And remember, this whole 1-minute FISO exercise is a preliminary analysis.
Okay.
It's meant to guide further investigation, not be the final word.
Not the be-all and end-all.
Not at all.
It's the first step in a more comprehensive due diligence process.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of which, what else should our aspiring developer do to validate these findings?
They need to dig deeper into those assumptions.
Okay.
Get detailed cost estimates from builders.
Okay.
Confirm those development contributions with the council and scrutinize comparable sales to make sure they're truly representative of the market.
Okay, so go from those educated guesses to concrete data.
Exactly.
Solid facts and figures.
That's what we need.
Are our friends.
They are.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
In this first part of our deep dive. Into townhouse development feasibility.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's important stuff.
It is. We've explored the world of townhouses, decoded the key cost components, and even ventured into the world of sensitivity analysis and risk assessment.
Can't forget about those.
We can't.
They're crucial.
Okay, but our journey isn't over yet.
No, it's not.
Join us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll uncover even more insights from the case study and equip you with the knowledge to make informed investment decisions.
That's the goal.
In this exciting world.
It is exciting.
Of real estate development.
It is.
Until then, keep those calculators handy.
Yeah.
And those creative juices flowing. Welcome back to our Townhouse Deep Dive.
Back for more.
Last time we walked through that 1-minute FISO analysis, uncovering potential opportunities. And some risks lurking beneath the surface.
Gotta watch out for those.
So we definitely crunched some numbers.
We did.
But numbers alone don't tell the whole story.
They don't.
We need to connect them back to the real world.
Exactly.
To the market, the developer's goals, and their tolerance for risk.
Absolutely. Speaking of risk, remember that discrepancy we uncovered?
That big one.
Between the maximum land value and the seller's asking price.
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
What are the implications of that gap?
Well, it raises a big question.
Okay.
Is the seller overvaluing the property?
Okay.
Or do they have some inside knowledge that justifies that higher price?
Okay, like what kind of inside knowledge?
Maybe they know about upcoming zoning changes.
That could unlock more development potential.
Okay.
Or maybe they've caught wind of infrastructure projects that could boost property values.
So they know something.
Yeah, they might.
What we don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just wishful thinking.
Right, could be.
On their part.
Yeah.
But the key takeaway here is that this difference needs more investigation.
We got to dig deeper.
We do.
Ask more questions and challenge those initial assumptions.
Absolutely.
Our financial detective work just got a whole lot more interesting.
It did.
Okay, so we need to gather more evidence, interview the market data, and see if we can crack this case.
I like that.
Property development is a negotiation game.
It is.
The seller wants the highest price.
Right.
The developer wants the best deal.
Of course.
Understanding the true value of that land is crucial for both sides.
Absolutely
It's almost like a poker game.
Kind of.
With both sides trying to read each other and make strategic bets based on incomplete information.
It's a game of strategy.
I like that analogy.
Knowing when to hold them and when to fold them
right.
is key to success.
Okay, let's say our developer decides to move forward despite that higher land cost.
Right.
What could they do to improve the project's profitability?
That's where creativity comes in.
Okay.
And strategic thinking.
Right.
One option is exploring higher density.
Okay, so building more townhouses on the same lot.
Exactly.
But wouldn't that mean revisiting
It would.
those initial assumptions?
Yeah.
In the 1-minute FISO analysis?
We'd have to adjust some things.
Okay.
The number of units.
Okay.
Construction costs. Potential sale prices.
Okay.
But feasibility analysis is an iterative process.
Right.
We're constantly refining our understanding as we go.
Okay, so instead of 6 townhouses,
maybe
they could squeeze in 8.
Yeah.
Or even 10.
If zoning allows it.
Right. If zoning allows it.
If the site works for it.
Okay.
That could potentially increase revenue without drastically increasing land costs.
Okay.
Of course, we'd need to look closely at construction costs.
Okay.
Building more units often leads to economies of scale.
Okay, what does that mean?
So the per unit cost might actually decrease.
Oh, interesting.
It's like buying in bulk.
Oh, okay.
At the supermarket.
Right.
The more you buy, the lower the unit price.
Okay, I get it.
So you can apply that same principle.
Okay, but wouldn't those development contributions
that's a good point.
increase too?
We'd need to check with the council.
Okay.
How those would be calculated
Right.
for a higher density project.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot.
It is.
Between potential revenue increases and potential cost increases.
You gotta balance it out.
And it's not just about crunching numbers.
Right.
We need to understand the market.
Yeah. Will there be enough demand for those extra units?
At the desired price point.
Exactly.
Okay, what about the design and layout of the townhouses themselves?
Oh, good point.
Could they make them more appealing to buyers?
Absolutely.
And potentially justify higher prices?
So optimizing floor plans to create more usable space.
Okay.
That's a great strategy.
And maybe incorporating flexible spaces? That could be used as home offices, gyms, or guest rooms.
Exactly.
That would cater to the needs of modern families.
Modern families need that flexibility.
They do.
Right. Or they could focus on sustainable building materials. And energy-efficient features. Those are becoming more and more important to buyers.
For sure.
It's about standing out from the competition.
Offering something unique.
Yeah.
That buyers are willing to pay a premium for.
Exactly.
Okay, so thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Finding creative ways.
That's it.
To maximize value.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, what other levers do you think our developer could pull?
Well, besides increasing density and optimizing the design, they could look at ways to reduce construction costs without compromising quality.
Okay, so how do they do that?
Negotiating better deals with suppliers.
Okay.
Or exploring alternative building methods.
Like what?
Maybe looking at prefabricated components or modular construction techniques to streamline the process and cut down on labor costs.
So working smarter, not harder.
That's it.
Finding innovative solutions that deliver value without breaking the bank.
That's the key.
And speaking of banks.
Oh, yeah.
We should also consider
financing.
Financing.
Can't forget about financing.
Could the developer explore different loan options or financing structures to potentially reduce their overall interest costs?
So shopping around for the best loan terms is essential.
Okay.
And there are options.
Yeah, like what?
Like construction to permanent loans or even joint venture partnerships.
Okay.
That might offer more favorable financing arrangements.
So it's about being proactive.
It is.
And exploring all the possibilities.
Gotta explore all the options.
Okay.
Financing is the lifeblood of any development project.
Right.
Getting it right is crucial.
Okay, so we've got a lot of potential strategies.
We do.
For our developer to consider.
A lot to think about.
But realistically, they probably can't implement all of them, right?
You're right.
They got to prioritize.
They do.
Those strategies that offer the biggest bang for their buck.
The biggest impact.
And align with their overall goals.
Goals and risk tolerance.
Risk tolerance.
That's important.
Okay, so like creating a custom recipe for success.
I like that.
Blending the right ingredients in the right amounts.
Got to get that balance right.
And remember, this whole process is iterative.
It is.
As the developer learns more, refines those assumptions, and explores different scenarios. Their understanding of the project's potential will evolve.
It will.
So it's a dynamic journey.
It is.
Not a fixed destination.
That's what makes it so fascinating.
I agree.
It's a blend of creativity, analysis, market savvy, and calculated risk-taking.
It's like solving a complex puzzle.
Kinda.
Piece by piece. Until the full picture is revealed.
You got it.
And in this case, the big picture is a successful townhouse development that delivers both financial returns and much-needed housing.
Absolutely. We need more housing.
We do.
For sure.
You've summed it up beautifully.
Thanks.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
we
need to address another crucial aspect of feasibility analysis.
Right.
The worst-case scenario.
Can't forget about that.
We can't just focus on the sunshine.
Right.
We need to be prepared for those storms.
Yeah, those storms can come out of nowhere.
That could derail our development dreams.
Got to be ready for them.
Remember that $278,568 loss we calculated earlier?
Ouch.
The one where sale prices drop
Yeah.
and costs rise?
That's the one.
That number is definitely burned into my memory.
I bet.
So that's why having a contingency plan is so crucial.
Absolutely.
A plan B.
Yeah.
That outlines how the developer would respond to a downturn.
Right.
Or those unexpected challenges.
Because they will come up.
That inevitable pop-up.
For sure.
So instead of panicking when things go wrong, the developer has a predetermined course of action
Exactly.
to mitigate those risks and hopefully salvage the project.
Hopefully.
It's like having an insurance policy.
That's a good way to put it.
For those what-if scenarios.
Exactly.
Okay, let's brainstorm some potential contingency plans for our townhouse project.
Let's do it.
What could the developer do to minimize losses if that worst-case scenario starts to unfold?
One option is adjusting pricing strategies.
Okay, so instead of sticking rigidly to those initial sale prices, the developer might need to be more flexible.
A little more flexible.
Offering incentives or discounts to attract buyers in a softer market.
Exactly. Got to stay competitive.
Okay.
Or they could explore different sales channels.
Okay.
Maybe partnering with an agency that specializes in off-the-plan sales.
Okay.
Or getting creative with their marketing to reach a wider audience.
Okay, so it's about adapting to the changing market.
Right.
Being agile.
Right.
And finding ways to stay competitive.
That's how you survive.
Okay, what else could they do?
They could explore reducing construction costs without compromising title.
So renegotiating contracts with suppliers, finding more cost-effective materials, or streamlining the construction schedule to reduce labor costs.
Got to find those savings.
Right.
So,
and if all else fails, could they sell the project?
They could.
Before completion to another developer or investor?
That's definitely an option.
Okay.
It might mean accepting a lower return than initially planned.
Okay.
But sometimes cutting your losses and moving on to the next opportunity is the best move.
It's a tough call.
It is.
But sometimes the most prudent one.
Sometimes you got to walk away to live another day.
So the goal is to minimize risk and maximize returns.
Exactly.
Even when facing challenges.
That's the name of the game.
Having a solid contingency plan allows the developer to make informed decisions. Navigate those unexpected hurdles.
Absolutely.
And potentially turn a potential disaster.
It's all about damage control.
Into a manageable setback.
Exactly.
Turning lemons into lemonade.
I like it.
Or at least finding a way to make the best of a less than ideal situation.
Gotta stay positive.
That's what sets successful developers apart.
It is.
They anticipate challenges,
Right.
adapt to change, and make strategic decisions, even when the pressure is on.
That's what separates the pros from the amateurs.
Okay, so feasibility analysis is more than just numbers.
It is.
It's about understanding the human element of real estate.
Creating spaces where families can thrive and communities can grow.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
In part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
Of our Townhouse deep dive.
It's been a good one.
It has. We've explored financial calculations, brainstorm strategies to boost profitability.
Yeah, make that money.
And even delved into contingency planning.
Always be prepared.
And risk management.
Can't forget about risk.
But the story isn't over yet.
No, it's not.
Join us for the final part of this deep dive as we wrap up.
We will.
Our analysis and equip you with the knowledge
to
confidently assess your own development dreams.
Until next time.
Welcome back to our Townhouse deep dive.
We've made it to the final part.
We've explored the numbers.
Yeah, crunched those numbers.
The market.
The good and the bad.
And even those what-if scenarios.
Oh, yeah, the what-ifs.
That can make or break a project.
Gotta be prepared.
It's been quite a journey. We've uncovered the essential elements.
Yeah, the key ingredient.
That go into assessing the viability of a townhouse development.
For sure.
And we've gleaned some great insights.
We have.
From that case study.
Yeah, it's a goldmine of information.
It is. I'm excited to see what other gems we uncover as we wrap things up.
Let's dive back in.
Okay, so let's jump back into the 1-minute FISO analysis.
Okay.
And revisit those key findings.
Yeah, those numbers we crunched.
Remember, we had a development margin of 15.6%.
Yeah.
A total projected profit of $723,615. And a developer equity contribution of $1,394,733.
Big numbers.
Big numbers. They paint a picture.
Yeah, they do.
A potential. But as we discussed earlier, we can't just look at the surface.
Nope. Gotta dig deeper.
We need to consider the market conditions, the developer's goals, and their individual risk tolerance.
Exactly. Everyone's different.
So a 15.6% profit margin might be appealing to one developer, but seem too risky to another.
Too risky for sure.
Especially considering the significant debt
all that debt
required for the project.
Yeah. Gotta factor that in.
So it really highlights how feasibility analysis is a personal process.
It is very personal.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Nope.
It's about tailoring the assessment to the specific project and the developer's unique circumstances.
Not to make it fit.
It's like tailoring a suit.
That's a good analogy.
You need the right measurements and adjustment.
To get that perfect fit.
Just like a tailor.
Exactly.
A developer needs to carefully measure the market, analyze the numbers, and make those strategic decisions.
Those are the key.
That will ultimately shape
for sure
the project's success.
All right, now let's circle back to that discrepancy.
Yeah.
Between the maximum land value and the seller's asking price.
That was a real head-scratcher.
It was.
Did our detective work shed any more light on that?
Well, the case study doesn't give us a definitive answer, but it reinforces the importance of thorough due diligence.
Right.
The developer needs to investigate those factors that might justify that higher price tag and determine if they align with their own investment strategy.
So don't just take the seller's word for it.
No.
Challenge that asking price.
Absolutely.
Do your research.
Yeah.
And make sure it's backed up by solid evidence.
That's the key.
Gather the facts.
Yeah.
Like a detective building a case.
That's a good way to think about it.
And in property development.
Right.
That evidence comes from market research, comparable sales data, construction costs, financing options, and understanding those zoning regulations and development contributions.
Gotta know the rules of the game.
It's about putting all those puzzle pieces together to see the full picture.
To understand the potential.
To understand the true potential of the project.
Okay.
But sometimes that picture isn't clear right away.
Not always.
What is it?
That's the thing about feasibility analysis.
Yeah?
It's an evolving process as the developer gathers more information and refines their assumptions.
Okay.
Their understanding of the project's potential will shift and become clearer.
So it's a reminder.
It is.
That we need to embrace those uncertainties.
There will be uncertainties.
Be willing to adapt and make adjustments as we go.
Gotta be flexible.
The real estate market is constantly changing.
Always changing.
So flexibility is key.
Absolutely key.
Property development isn't for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
It takes resilience.
Yeah, you need a thick skin.
And a willingness to take calculated risks.
Can't be afraid to take risks.
But with careful planning,
right?
Thorough analysis, and a bit of that entrepreneurial spirit.
You got to have that drive.
Those who dare to build.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Can create something truly special.
They can?
Not just profitable investments.
Right.
But homes. And communities.
Places for people to live.
That enhance our cities.
Exactly. Building a better world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with this thought.
Correct.
Feasibility analysis isn't just about numbers.
It's
about the human element of real estate.
Creating spaces where families can flourish.
Absolutely.
And communities can connect.
It's about building more than just structures.
Yeah.
It's about building a better future.
Well said.
And with that, we've reached the end.
The end of the road.
Of our Townhouse deep dive.
It's been a good one.
We've explored the ins and outs of feasibility analysis.
We've heard all the bases.
Covering the essential elements that every aspiring developer should consider.
Yeah, if you're thinking about developing.
We've delved into financial projections. Market dynamics. Risk assessment.
Got to manage those risks.
And even brainstormed some strategies along the way.
Always good to have a plan.
But most importantly.
We've highlighted the importance of approaching this process with a critical eye. Challenging assumptions.
Don't just take things at face value.
And gathering evidence.
The evidence is key.
To make informed decisions.
That's how you make smart choices.
So as you embark on your own development journey.
Your own adventure.
Remember the lessons we've learned.
Take those lessons to heart.
From this case study.
They'll serve you well.
Be thorough.
Dot your I's and cross your T's.
Be adaptable.
Got to be able to roll with the punches.
Be creative.
It's outside the box.
And be bold.
Go for it.
In your pursuit of building a better world.
That's what it's all about.
One townhouse at a time.
One townhouse at a time.
Until next time. Keep those calculators handy. Those creative juices flowing.
Gotta keep those flowing.
And those development dreams alive.
Keep dreaming big.